Drink Pepsi, and you just might fly home a $32 million fighter jet, the boldest marketing stunt in Pepsi's history. All it took was drinking 16 million bottles to redeem the plane. The bar looked outrageous, because they never thought anyone would actually do it. Turns out, you should never underestimate young people. This all happened in 1995. Pepsi rolled out a Drink Pepsi, Collect Points, Redeem for Merch promo. To hype it, they shot a commercial. The first half showed the usual prizes: t-shirts, hats, sunglasses. And then, as a cheeky gag at the end, a Harrier fighter jet dropped straight down onto a school campus. Most people laughed and moved on. But one guy, John Leonard, took it seriously. He looked up the price of a Harrier, about $32 million, and did the math. The cost to rack up 7 million Pepsi points might be far less than the jet itself. With a life-changing chance right in front of him, John felt he had no time to waste. He started living on the cheap and hauling cases of Pepsi home. A week in, reality hit. Even if his whole family drank 190 bottles a day, it would still take 100 years. If he wanted to make the one-year redemption window, he'd need a big pile of cash up front. John thought of a friend 20 years older, Todd, a local small business owner he'd met while mountaineering, someone who also loved risk. Todd watched the ad, eyes lighting up, and kept confirming, 7 million points equals Harrier jet, and there was no disclaimer on the screen. Once Todd agreed to fund it, John laid out the numbers. According to the catalog, a 12-pack earned 5 points. To reach 7 million points, they'd need around 1.4 million 12-packs. That meant renting 6 large warehouses and hiring buyers, drivers, and a team to collect and process the points, about 45 people, aiming to finish in roughly 3 months. The plan looked airtight, but Todd still flagged 3 critical risks. First, legality. Is it legal for a private citizen to own a fighter jet? John dug into the rules and called the Pentagon. A spokesperson said that as long as the jet had no weapons, it wasn't illegal. Second, monetization. What do you do with the jet if you get it? John proposed leasing it out for air shows, commercials, and movie shoots. Okay, just barely enough to convince Todd. Third, promo risk. What if they got started and Pepsi pulled the promo early, leaving them with mountains of soda they couldn't sell? No one buys secondhand Pepsi, so they'd take a bath. That put John's get-rich plan on pause. Back at school and pretty dejected, he happened to flip through the redemption catalog and found a fatal loophole. You could buy points directly with cash, with no limit, at 10 cents per point. In other words, $700,000 would buy 7 million points, enough to claim the Harrier. John immediately told Todd. They moved fast. They mailed Pepsi a $700,000 check and explicitly requested the fighter jet. Then he waited for a reply. Nothing. Inside Pepsi, the team was stunned and called an emergency meeting. The jet in the ad was obviously a joke. Who would take it literally? Someone suggested sending a model plane instead, but that got shut down quickly. The ad said, fighter jet, not model. Soon after, John got a letter back with 2 Pepsi coupons. Pepsi's message was clear. It was just a joke, and they weren't honoring it. John and Todd were furious. Their lawyer sent a demand letter insisting Pepsi perform. Instead of a prize, a court summons showed up.